My coaching student Ariel went from complete beginner to making over $10,000 profit a month on Amazon fast while working his 9 to 5 job as a truck driver. In this video, we're going to dig into his entire story and show you how you can succeed selling on Amazon FBA part-time in 2025, steps A to Z. Let's get right into it. What's up? We got the man Ariel right here, full-time truck driver, part-time Amazon seller. Absolutely been crushing the past couple months. So good to have you here, man.
What's up, man? Everything's great. I'm glad to
100%.
be here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You were just mentioning how you watched a bunch of these previously, so I'm sure it's a cool, full circle moment for you, man. But, just to provide some context, you want to just kind of fill us in on, your background, why you got into selling on Amazon, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I was a truck driver. I was watching all your videos pretty much every day back in 2023. So I was a little skeptical, I'm not gonna lie at
As
first,
you
but then
should be. Yeah.
I noticed like, damn, you seem like a real dude to me, you know? Everything you were saying, I started following. In the beginning, I struggled, I'm not gonna lie. I was doing a lot of RA. RA wasn't working for me at all. It was working, but it was a lot of one-off items, you know? I would go, it'll be a hunt. I'll be in there for an hour or two in every separate stores, everybody giving me the crazy looks. I didn't like it. And then I started transitioning to OA. Once I started transitioning to OA, I started doing a little better.
Sure. Okay. And then what was December like sales and profit wise for you?
This last December, I did just under 80K and I profited over 12,000.
Boom. Okay, cool. Exactly. Right. And now you're learning the process. You see what that looks like and everything. And you're still a full-time truck driver, right?
I work 55 hours a
Yeah,
week.
so my boy's grinding, right? So we got college kids watching this thinking like, I don't know if I have time for this and stuff, right? You use what you got, right? You obviously have a family as well too and everything. So, you use what you got, right? The available time and we make time for what's important to us. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
getting into 2025, a lot of you guys are watching this, you've been on the fence for a little while. It's time to go take the life you want. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially if you can start early and start the planning stage out and get all the stuff you need to learn out the way. That way you could explode really once August and Q4 gets here. So
Yeah,
getting started.
exactly. Right. So we're filming this, in mid-January, right? And this is the best time of the year to get started because now you have, a 6 month period prior to back to school, prior to Q4, where you can get started, where you can take action and learn the process. And then literally every single day throughout this entire year until December 20th of next year, right? Selling on Amazon gets easier day over day, just market trends wise, right? And then it, gets a little bit harder after Christmas, right? And then the cycle repeats itself and everything. So what specifically do you think like really caused you to take off once you started doing OA? Because you had mentioned, man, that RA was a struggle.
For OA, it was me focusing on certain brands. Once I started focusing on certain brands, and like you were saying back in the day, seeing where those brands came from, and I was taking the retail websites, getting that email list going, and whenever those sales turned on, and I had my list of ASINs that I know are good ASINs that have good velocity that I wanted to test. Once I had those and once those went on sale and I started seeing, look, if I could keep track of all this, purchasing only takes 2 minutes. I can purchase literally while I'm at a stop at my job, I can purchase all my ASINs as long as I know they're good ASINs. So once I started doing that, I started keeping better track of things. I'm able to execute on like a limited amount of time.
Now, a word from our sponsor, me. If you want the same personalized one-on-one help Ariel got, I have a coaching program that I'll put down below in the description. You can go ahead and apply for that's going to give you everything you need to succeed selling on Amazon FBA in 2025 and personalized direct one-on-one help from me and a broader community of other Amazon sellers crushing the game. So if that's something you're interested in, go to the link in the description, put in your information and see if you qualify. We can see if it makes sense to work together. So check that out if you're interested and back. Yeah, and that's
That
the cool thing about like selling on Amazon and that like at your job, I assume it's hourly and it's pretty capped in regards to how much you can make, right? Right. And
absolutely.
that serves its purpose, right? And provide you a good living for all, right? But like how does it feel to now have had a 5 figure profit month and something you didn't start that long ago, you know what I mean, a year or two, right? And now knowing that you have this skill set where you can go do that every month with the right actions, you know what I mean? So what does that feel like kind of seeing, your capabilities play out more and more?
Let's just put it like this. I told my job If I don't get less hours, I'm quitting. And now the plan is for them to cut my hours an hour and a half. So that's exciting. But it goes back to even what you were saying before. You have like that's why I wanted to get into the coaching program so bad because your mindset around all this is just even life, period, is on point. The way you attack life, you don't you'd always used to say, don't let certain ways, don't talk about yourself a certain way
Ooh,
in your
that's
head.
very important, man. That's on a spiritual level too, right?
Yeah,
That has
no,
nothing to do with the Amazon side of
but
things, you know?
that's the mindset you got to have around this. You got to have that discipline, and once I started, developing my skills in this Amazon game, I started noticing like, look, the more value I can provide, the more valuable I could become at this certain skill, the more I'll get in return. And I saw that this last month. And this last month, in 20 hours or less of me working a week, I was able to make almost two times what I do full time. So I worked half the amount of time part time and made twice the amount of money I would in my full-time job.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because when you start, you have no guaranteed return whatsoever in regards to starting an online business, right? But over time, you become the type of person that's valuable, the type of person that has skills or multiple skills, and the more useful you can be as a human being, the more, the world's going to give you back useful resource in this capacity being money, right? As well. So, a really important thing I like to ask, everyone that's found recent successes, was there, one specific moment or week or, different ASIN that, was really the aha moment for you, you know?
Yeah, once, last Q4 when I found one variation listing, and off that one listing, I found about six ASINs that I was able to sell five to 10 of each day that whole month. And last year I made like 20,000 just off those ASINs. So that was one variation listing that I was able to sell 20K of and profit, 2 to 3 thousand just off that one variation listing. So once I saw that, I was like, damn, I just found one variation. If I can find 10 of these, that's 10,000 a month in profit. And that's what I did this year.
Yeah, and it takes a while to get good, right? As it should, right? Otherwise, everyone would do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With everything, but you get the processes down, you learn a different website or two, right? And then so you're someone who actually is very short on time, right? Where you have every reason to not take the steps that you took that are necessary to build a successful online business. So talk about, time management and just what your day looks like and how you're able to make this happen.
I'm about to cancel a lot of excuses. So I start at 6:30 p.m. at my regular truck job. I work 10 to 11 hours, get back home at 5:30 a.m., get my youngest ready at 6:30 a.m. to go to school, my second youngest ready at 7:30 a.m. The bus is at 8, so I'm up from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 in the morning. And that's all just time that's automatic every day. And then after that, I'm able to source from 8 in the morning after not sleeping to about 9 or 10 in the morning. And I mean, in December it was all packing. I used those 2 hours to pack. That was pretty much the most I can do. And then just sleep from 10 to 4 or 10 to 3. So that's 5, 6 hours of sleep at most I was getting every day in Q4.
Yep. And suddenly it makes you feel a lot better about your schedule.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
it does for me too. Definitely, listen to that. But that's the key is like, you know what I mean? You're not going to have to live like that forever if you don't want to. By you building valuable skills, you're buying back your life essentially, right? In respect, that's a phenomenal way to think about money, in my opinion, is it's like a denomination of time. And like if you have enough money, you don't have to work for money, right? And you get a lot of time back, right? And so therefore, you need to make your hours as valuable as possible, and that comes from building skills and doing valuable things often, you know?
That's my ultimate goal to somewhat set aside, 100,000 and just look for ways to invest that money passively and, earn that financial independence. That's what I really want. That's what I'm after.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, and then so you're just doing online arbitrage, for example, right?
just doing OA. I don't even do pickup orders. It's just all OA
And that's a
to the
schedule
house.
thing. Exactly. Right. Use
Yeah.
what you got. Right. And that, like, in the future,
That's
right? Say you buy more of your time back, right? You're in northern New Jersey, right?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? So you live in an excellent area of the country to do Amazon wholesale from because there's so much commerce in that, New York, PA, and New Jersey tri-state area, right? There's so much of it,
I
right?
work right for them actually.
Well, exactly, right? And you start to see this, you start to become, more capable. And that's why like stuff like wholesale is so hard for beginners because typically someone that's never made money online isn't the type of person that's prepared to go shake people's hands and make cold calls and everything. But you prove to yourself who you are through hard work, right? And that's why arbitrage and OA and R is such a good vehicle to go ahead and get started with that too. So I assume truck driving is probably like one of the most jobs that requires the least, socialization, right? And in my
Exactly.
opinion, selling on Amazon is the kind of thing that can be incredibly lonely. But in order to be successful, one of the best ways to do it is to socialize heavily. Now, it's not in person typically, it's digitally, it's online, it's on social media, it's in iMessage group chats, it's in Discord channels. So talk about how the networking side of things and the coaching program, being around other people in the mix have been really helpful for you. If they have at all. They might not have been.
It has, but I
Yeah.
mean, mostly it's been, the coaching program. Once I got in there, it's almost like watching you throughout December, you just get people pumped, man. I just be in there, I be tired going back, and as soon as I listen to one of the videos, it's just like, all right, it's time to go. So once I get back home, I get on it. But especially in the mentorship program is we get you about 2 or 3 times a week. And that accountability right there, knowing that you paid for this and you're in there and you're showing us exactly how to make this money is more about going to get it. Like, are you willing to put in the work? Once I saw that and once I proved that to myself, I buckled down this last December and that's why I got the results I did.
Sure. And we even, met up and played basketball in person back over
Yeah.
the summer too, because back when I was in or was in Pennsylvania and everything. Do you have other sellers you're working with closely as well, or is it mainly you right now?
It's only me. I don't really talk to that many other people.
Gotcha.
Just
Okay,
myself.
so yeah, get some of that in the mix too as well. So you obviously did, get formal help too and everything, but yeah, and that's a super valuable thing you can do too. Is get in the mix a little bit more, and you're in an advantageous place because you do, I see you around often and everything, right? Where people
Yeah.
definitely know you're about it and all that.
Yeah, no, I
Okay,
try
cool.
I try to post as much as I can. I'm actually interacting a lot, on Twitter.
Yep,
I'm on
that's a
there.
great place to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly too.
And even
As
that,
well.
other people, even seeing other people like put in work, that really gets you like motivated to like do better yourself. So
Yeah, and
just
there's
being around, that.
sure. Yeah, that energy is a very good point with that as well too. And then where can people follow you on Twitter too if they want to see more of what you're up to as well?
I use my OG account from back in 2015. I ain't care about my friends knowing nothing. So my at is at Triumph 207.
Cool. All right, sweet. So we'll get that link in the description too. And as we finish up here, man, if you could go back to Ariel that was struggling with RA or just getting started with OA, what are you telling him that's going to help him succeed quicker? And to just advice for new Amazon sellers too.
Something you said a lot, actually, and it's the way I do it is I collect great ASINs and I separate the spreadsheets in which I put them into. So I put the ones I've tested, I put them into great ASINs I've tested, where they come from, the sources you can get them from, and the ones I haven't tested that I couldn't make good yet, I'll put them in a separate spreadsheet, not tested. And I'm telling you, as soon as Q4 runs around and you got those lists, it's almost like a buy sheet and you just execute, execute, execute. This comes from there and see if that sale is on. You can pretty much buy anything that's on the list that you've tested, and you can even go deep on some of the things you've really tested. So it's just pretty much having a buy sheet of items you tested that are great ASINs. And if you could keep track of that over time, especially that's why it's good to get started right now. If you can keep track of that throughout the whole year, by the time you get to December or August, or once it really starts heating up in Q4, you're able to execute so much more swiftly. It's almost like you line everything up just so you can have like a smooth Q4.
Yep. Yeah, 100%, man, right? Because it's very typical to have 50% of your output be during just that, 45 days in November and December, mid-November to late December, early November to late December, et cetera, basically, man. So appreciate you come on. Super proud of what you've been able to do so far. And we're only getting started in 2025 for you, man. Super excited to see what you do, in the next year as well.
All right. Glad to be on and, full circle moment coming on here. I
100%, man. Yeah. So appreciate you guys watching too. If you guys want formal help, check out the link in the description and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot, Ariel.